Hi, I'm Abhishek. In this video, I will give you a simple and practical introduction to GitLab. We will start from the basics of GitLab. What is it and why is it used? Then I will show you how to create a free GitLab account for your learning purposes. We will understand GitLab pricing tiers and move into the core features like repository, branches, merge requests, CI/CD pipelines, and project planning tools. By the end, you will have a fair idea of how to get started on GitLab. Without further ado, let's get started. How to create a free GitLab account. For that, you first need to go to the GitLab website. Then click on this button called Get Free Trial. You will have to provide your basic information like first name, last name, and email address. You can provide your password as well. Or another way to authenticate is via your Google account, which is what I'm going to use. After you have signed up and verified your account using the link that you will receive in your email address, you will be able to log into GitLab account. The first thing it will ask you to do is create a group and create a project. Because I already have an account, I can see the group which I had created previously. However, if you are asked to create a group, you can give whatever name you would like. Let's understand what is a group in GitLab is like a folder that contains multiple projects together in one place. It helps you to organize your work and manage the permissions as well. Think like this. A project is equal to one repository or one code base. A group can be a collection of related projects, and group also allows you to add users to the group who will have access to all these projects. Before we get on to create a repository within the group, let's understand what are the pricing tiers in GitLab. For that, we will click on the top right hand side corner button and go to Upgrade Subscription. Here you can see that currently we are using GitLab Free. However, when we scroll down, we can see that there are three options: Free, Premium, and Ultimate. Free tier is where we can do source code management using repository, branches, and merge functionalities. We also get the basic CI/CD. We can use issues and boards for project planning. It is perfect for learning as well as for individual project management and code management. Also for small projects where there are 5 or less users. The next tier is called Premium. That gives us more merge options and compliance options. It also gives us access to AI functionalities within the interactive development environment IDE, which we are going to see later in this video. It also allows us to add more users and hence do an effective team project management. It is used by growing teams and companies. Finally, Ultimate. This is the topmost tier offering, which gives us advanced security scanning and testing, as well as advanced options for compliance and governance. It also gives us something called value stream analytics. Mainly, this option is used by large companies. For this video, everything that I will teach will be based on the free plan. Navigation. Now, let's navigate through the GitLab menus. The menus can be accessed using the hamburger icon on the top left-hand side corner. When you click on that icon, you can see that various menu options are visible. For today's course, we are going to focus on the plan and code menus. In the plan menu, we can see that we have access to create issues and view issues. In day-to-day life, we also call them as GitLab tickets or work items. From here, we can also access the issue board. The code menu allows us to go to repositories. However, here we do not see the option of repository because we first need to create a project or a repository. Creating a project or repository. As I mentioned earlier, a project is basically a place where we store the files. This is also called repository or repo. This is the heart of GitLab because this is where your project's code and files will be stored. GitLab keeps track of every change you make to every file within the repository, and hence there is always a way to go back to the previous version of the files. Multiple developers can work together in the same repository without overwriting each other's work. After you created a new group, the first thing GitLab would prompt you would be to create a new project. We can start by creating a blank project. You have to give a project name. For example, I can call it a demo project. Again, you can either create a new group or you can choose an existing group. You can scroll down and click on Create Project. Well done. you have now created your first project or repository in GitLab. Here you can see that by default there is one file called readme.md that GitLab has created. Let's see now how to add your project files to this repository. For that, we will use the plus icon here, and that gives us option to either create a new file or upload files which are on your PC or laptop. You can also create new directory or folder. When you click on new file, you can start coding directly in the web using this new file option. This is a simple file editor where you can start writing your code. For example, I have written some text and given name to the file. Once I do that, I can click on commit changes to save the file. Let's go back to the project and we can see that the file is now added here. So essentially you can create, upload files as well as create new directory for the folder structure that you would like. Web IDE screen. IDE stands for Interactive Development Environment. Programming usually requires working on multiple files. It involves debugging and then building executable. The IDE provides one place for the programmers to do all of this. The popular IDEs are Visual Studio, VS Code, IntelliJ, PyCharm. The Web IDE in GitLab is an online editor that lets you write and edit the code directly from your browser without having to install anything. You can access the Web IDE by clicking on this code button and then choosing the option of Web IDE or Web Interactive Development Environment will open in a new tab. And here you can work on multiple files, make several changes, and then check in all of your changes. This Web IDE is very handy for quick fixes, documentation edits, and small feature developments. By the way, if we go back, we see another option here. This option gives you the way to connect to the GitLab repository from Visual Studio or IntelliJ, which is installed on your PC or laptop. So essentially, using SSH or HTTPS, you can link to the GitLab repository from your laptop. Understanding branches allow you to work safely without changing the main code. Currently, we can see here that we are on the main branch. In practical scenarios, we may want to work on multiple features and bug fixes together. However, not all of them will go to production together. There will also be multiple programmers working on the same project. Hence, creating branches allows all the developers and all the features to be worked upon in parallel without accidental overwriting. Let's explore this from the menu. Go to Code and then Open Branches. Here we get option to create a new branch. So click on that and then you can give a name like Feature Login Screen. Usually we create the branch from main because main holds the code version which has gone into production. You click on Create Branch and now you can see that the same files are available but you are working in the feature login screen, which means if you make changes to any of these files, those changes will not apply to the files stored in the main branch. Committing. What is committing? Commitment can be scary and overwhelming, but not with GitLab. Let's see in the context of GitLab what committing means. I'm currently in my feature branch and I'm going to open this code file and make some changes to that. Because it's a single file, I'm just going to edit it here in this screen. So I've made some changes to this file. And when I want to save these changes, I'm going to hit the commit changes button. Committing the change would mean that I am actually saving changes to this file. That will create a new version of this file on the repository. It is advisable to always put some messages when committing the change so you can easily look back at the version history of the file. After clicking the Commit Changes button, my changes are going to be saved in the file. But does that mean that I have actually lost my original file? No. My original file is available in the main branch as well as all the versions of the current file are also saved in the feature branch. Tip: try to make small commits. When there are small commits, it is easy for you to review them and go back in case needed. When your work is ready, you create a merge request to submit the code changes for the main branch. Here we see the option to create a merge request. We can also access merge requests from the menu from Code and Merge Request option. When you create a new merge request, essentially you are telling you want to push the changes from one feature branch onto the main branch. You can choose them from the top. Here we can see that the changes of feature login screen are going to be merged into main branch. The first one is called source and the next is called target. If you want to make any change to the source or target, you can easily do that by clicking on the change branches option. I'm going to submit this merge request. After the merge requests are submitted, they do not directly go and merge into main. Usually there is an approval stage and the approval is given by clicking on the approve button. Now I have approved the change and after this I can merge the changes. I have option to either delete the source branch or keep it. In my case, I'm going to keep the source branch and just click on merge. Now let's go to the main branch. We open this file and we can see that the changes that we had made to the feature branch have now reflected in the main branch as well. If we want to see the history, we can click on the history button and there you can see that the file was first created 10 minutes ago and then later I made some changes to it which were 2 minutes ago. CI/CD pipelines. CI/CD stands for continuous integration and continuous deployment. It means that GitLab will automatically run testing and execute the build. It can also push the code to target environments if you configure it to do that. This is a very interesting topic and a must-have skill for the programmers. So we will have to cover this in detail in a different tutorial video. To ensure that you do not miss it, I request you to subscribe to my channel right now. I promise to bring very useful videos that will help you grow in your career. Planning and project management. Using GitLab issues. GitLab also helps you to plan your work and manage your team's backlog. How do we do that? For that, let's go to the menu. Under Plan, let's access the Issues option. Here you can create a new issue by clicking on the New Item button. An issue is a work item on which the programmer is going to work. For example, create password change option. Usually the description of the issue has something called story writing format, which means the programmer will be able to understand exactly what functionality the end user or the stakeholder is asking for. For now, I'm going to put the same description as the title and then click on Create Issue button. Now you can see that the issue is created and this is issue number 2. I already had one issue previously created, which is issue number 1. Next, we will go to Issue Board. Again, by going into the menu under Plan, we see Issue. Issue boards are the Kanban boards which can be used every day during the daily meetings. These daily meetings are called daily scrums. Here we can see all of the issues and then drag them into different statuses as required. Using the GitLab planning is very interesting topic and very useful to everyone. Whether you are a project manager, a team lead, change manager, or even head of IT, I'm sure that you will come across using GitLab planning at some point in your career. So I will cover it in detail in one more tutorial video. To ensure that you do not miss it, I request you to subscribe to my channel right now. Let's wrap up your micro learning for today. In the last 10 minutes or so, you have learned about what is GitLab, how to create a free GitLab account for your hands-on experience, what are the fundamental purposes of using GitLab, navigating through menus, how repositories, branches, and commits work, and how to access issues and issue boards. I hope that you liked this Getting Started with GitLab tutorial. I would love to bring many more detailed tutorials as promised earlier. To motivate me and support me, please like and subscribe. Have a good day.